Hello, everyone, and welcome to a regular scheduled class wrap with Mr. Spradlin. I hope you're doing well. I hope that you've enjoyed this little break from the heat that we've gotten, although it looks like we're back in the mid to upper 80s for most of us here for this week. But I hope you did get a chance to relish in the nice, cool mornings that we've had. Remember, this week we have been in Lesson 9, right? And Lesson 9 is probably at least at this point in your journey, an important lesson because it talks about the importance of financial literacy, making good decisions around finances when it comes to college and things around college. Remember, we talked in class about how one of the best practices, or one of the things that people mess up on, is taking a part of their financial aid that they get left over and spending it on things that aren't college oriented, rather than maybe saving that and putting it towards the next year's expenses or towards another type of educational experience, right? So it's those kinds of practices that make us successful in light of decision making when it comes to financial management in college. So in the first day, obviously, the slide deck is there. We talked about financial responsibility. We talked about accountability. We talked about, the benefits of college. We talked about we also talked about some costs of college and how there's that 33% income jump from students that get from a GED or associates up to bachelor's, that the income over a lifetime earnings jump that large, the largest jump across all of those categories. So it still holds weight that college experience is going to get you a little bit more out of life. Don't take my word for it. Just check out the data in our presentation this week. You also had a great day, I'm assuming, with Michaela on Wednesday. And you talked about the Student Money Management Center, and you interacted with that. What I will say in that regard also is to follow up with what we talked about in class. Make sure, if you haven't already, make those appointments to get your peer mentor second and first meetings in, right? Get those in, and if you hadn't done your first, you still need to do both of them to get credit. Otherwise, you won't get credit, and it's not going to be good. So make sure you do that. Make sure you're right on top of that, right? Also, in this unit, there's a nice little mid-semester check-in where the folks at First Year Experience want to get your feedback on the content in the course. If there's things you'd like to see change about the content, anything like that. So make sure you check in there. So what's due today, obviously, by 11:59 p.m. is the Lesson 9 Journal 7. And in this particular one, we want you to do the prompt. There's a prompt in the journal, right? And you can download this prompt to your computer. So you're going to go in and click the three dots and download the file. And then you can open and edit it and follow the instructions, right? So we want you to think about your awareness of your financial responsibilities, right? And in light of that, we want you to do a little bit of self-reflecting of your own finances, right? And how you manage them. So follow these things. So make a list of your spending, right? You don't need to add personal details, obviously, but reflect on the following questions when you go through that, right? How do your total need expenses compare to your total want expenses? So use this, follow these steps, type up, put in your items and costs, and check them off if they're need or want, and then do that reflection, right? Ask those questions of yourself, and take this and submit it back for your journal activity for today that's due tonight. A reminder. Remember, you still have that interview project, and I'm going to keep reminding you about this till we get there, by the way. That first big project for our class, the interview project, is on 11/8. We talked about it 2 modules ago, right? So if I were to go back to, I believe it was personal accountability and responsibility, but I will make sure that was it. Let me get back to that. No, it was professional communications and meeting your professor. It was that unit, right? So lesson 7, and the one of the things we talked about in this particular is that career exercise, right? So remember, it's going to be due on that week. I think that's week 10 or no? I don't know. I think it's week 10. But anyway, it's going to be due on 11/8, and that's that interview that we talked about in class. So make sure that you start thinking about that, right? You start thinking about who you're going to interview. Schedule a time. Get it scheduled. Get it on the calendar so that you can interview them about their career using the document that we provide. So if I were to actually come in and go to the course and find that for you, right? If I were to come in and go in and look at this particular thing. So we could go with, I think it was here under Communications and Settings, and we're going to go into our first class day and talk about some things. Here it is. Begin to tell your story interview for Common Reader Authors Forum. 50 points, right? So what does that mean? So if I scroll down, we'll actually talk about it here. So that's role playing. So it might be a little further in here, but it's in the slide deck for sure. So if you go into the first class day here and go down to the professional communication, one of the slides begins to cover this. But just know that that's coming. That's due on 11/8, right? So that's that interviewing someone about their career. Just a reminder about all these great things. I look forward to seeing you in class on Monday, and I hope you have a good day and a good rest of your weekend. Thanks a lot, y'all. Have a good one.